All right, guys, it's been a while since I uploaded my last video where I kind of showed a really quick walk around of my car and how I've been able to do mobile detailing out of my sedan. You don't have to have a truck. You don't have to have a minivan to go out here and detail cars. It really doesn't take as much as you might think. And so this video is going to be to address a lot of the questions that I've received on that video. So if you haven't seen that video, you can check it out, but I'm going to cover a lot of what I already talked about in that video in this one. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys exactly how I load my car. Right now it is completely empty. I used it for Uber last night. Let's get it set up for mobile detailing, and I'll show you how I set up that water system. So let's go. All right, so standing at the back of the car, I've got everything that I need to fit in the car out here on the ground. So to start, we're gonna go into the trunk, open this up, and you can see there's nothing in here. I've got it completely empty. The only thing that's in here is the subwoofer box and my dinky LEDs that have fallen down up there, but that space I have as unusable. I'm not going to take out my subwoofer. The only thing that's still in here that I haven't messed with is my pump. Now, I have had this entire season, I've had that pump mounted up here on these four little feet that come with the pump. It slides into those little grooves. Now, there is a link in the description for this exact pump that I'm using because it uses hose clamps to attach your hose. The thing I'm going to change about this is I'm going to actually mount this to the top of the water tank. Right now I use this random little powered switch. I have constant 12 volts power, and as you see, I switch that and it will come on. The power that I tapped into is directly behind here. I have my amplifier for my subwoofer back here, so it was just easy to get power right there. An option you have is if your vehicle, which most vehicles have, in the back, you may have a little cigarette outlet like this. I believe you would be able to go ahead and wire a male cigarette outlet onto the end of that pump, and you could just plug it in like that. So for me, for you guys, you're probably going to want to do a little bit more of a permanent installation, and that's your option. Go ahead and hardwire it in. What I'm going to do, like I said, is I'm going to put a plug in between this, and since this pump will be mounted to the top of my tank on these little holes, that's just going to make it easier for me to remove the whole thing as a unit. So I'll go ahead and show you guys exactly how I load that big old tank into the trunk of the car. All right, so to get the tank into the trunk, first of all, I'll have a link for this exact tank in the description, but I want to go ahead and show you before I get it in there that on the side here we have the lowest point, which is where it drains. So this is actually designed to be a sprayer tank for lawn, for putting chemicals down on your lawn or whatever. I went ahead and got a 90-degree, now this is a brass fitting here. It's starting to get corrosion on it. You're probably better off if you can find a small 90-degree in nylon. I got this just because it was cheap on Amazon. So if you want to go ahead and go this route, I will have links in the description for that. And then I got this plastic or nylon nipple here, 3/8 nipple, to attach the short little piece of hose to the pump. I got this at Menards, I believe, but I can post a link in the description for that as well. Only reason I did that is to prevent there being a sharp turn in the hose and kinking the hose. So in order to get this whole thing in here, it is a very tight fit. I do actually have to take the lid off, which is not a big deal. Then we go ahead and we can tip it in like that. Now the hard part is going to be this top edge hitting the roof here. So I might have to push down on this a little bit, and your trunk may be a little bit different as well. I will post dimensions of this tank. Again, the absolute max with the lid, and I'll take a dimension to the max without the lid so you guys have that information. So we'll just tip this up in here, kind of fight it like that, and it's in. I never did actually mount this, so because I have so much stuff for my detailing, I didn't see a reason to. When I'm driving around, the trunk is full. So I like to go ahead and have this pushed all the way to the back and all the way to this corner. So then what I would do is take my pump, this little end here, slides on, and it's normally up here on the side of the car. Like I said, I am going to move that pump up here so I can remove it all as one unit. That would be lower than the top of this. So go ahead and put the lid back on, which again, tight fit, but that's a good thing. It's not going to move around. So water supply is in there. Now, when you want to go ahead and fill this, what I do is I just take the garden hose and I just shove it up in here, stick it down inside, and then I go and turn the hose on. That's the easiest way I have found. You probably can get a fitting, drill a hole in this tank, and then fill it another way, but for ease of not modifying this tank, that's how I do it. Okay, so the next thing to go in is gonna be the chemicals. So I've got this whole bag of chemicals, and what I use, there's the foam cannon. Normally I have this in a bucket over there. All of the chemicals I use are actually by another YouTuber, Patterson Car Care. I'll have a link to his website to get this stuff. It is fantastic. I get many, many compliments on the smells and just the quality of the coatings that this provides. So most of my products are, again, Patterson Car Care. Works phenomenal. In this bag, I've got my brushes, everything you need. Your tire brush or foam applicator, and these tool bags are fantastic. So anyway, what I do is I take this and I slip it back here right in between the tank and the side of the car. So that's not really showing you too well right now. Go ahead and bring you over. So I just slip it right here in between so that I can kind of maximize my space. So the next thing to go in here, and this hose is normally coiled up and kind of pushed over here to the side like this to a degree. The next thing to go in is going to be probably the pressure washer here. Now, as I have stated before, I removed this big thing off the top of my Sunjoe pressure washer because it would have been up here. There's no way to get this in. So taking that off, setting it aside, taking the hose, keeping it separate, and the wand. The wand, what I like to do is I like to slide it actually up on top through the back like that. Get it all the way up there out of the way. And I'll set the hose aside just for a moment. And I'll load the pressure washer. So the pressure washer, without any of the attachments on it, slips right here. Now I center it up because it fits perfectly there with the way my trunk is nice and tight. So then the hose, grab the hose, you can hang it back on here. Sometimes I like to toss it in the back of the trunk or the car itself, but that's the option. Next thing to go in there is going to be the steamer. Here's the McCulloch steamer that I use. Fantastic little device here. I will have a link for this again on Amazon in the description below. This simply just tucks over here like this. Nice, snug, pushes over in the corner. Slide that over just a little bit, keep it from moving around. Lastly, the only thing else that has to go in the back of the car here is going to be a bucket. So in this bucket here, I have a grit guard in there, and then I have my buffer and different pads as well. Got to use every bit of storage we have when we're in a small vehicle like this. So that slips in right here, just like this. So now we can go ahead and close the trunk. If you thought that was everything we needed, then you're very wrong. Now we do have plenty more space here in the back. The first thing I'm going to go ahead and do is set down the seats. Get the seats down so we don't damage that leather. Dropping both seats is going to give us a whole bench worth of space. So let me drop the other side. Like that. And I'll show you how we fit everything in here. Okay, so for the back of the car, what I go ahead and do, I went and made this piece of wood. Now, the only reason I did this is to prevent things from sliding back past this little groove and protect my subwoofer. Like I said, I didn't want to take that subwoofer out. That was a very big design constraint for me. So this slides in and rests against the front of my sub box. Now, with that protection, I can throw anything I want in front of that and not worry about it sliding back and hitting my subwoofer. So in this bag, I've got all of my towels, just miscellaneous things, extra brushes, waxes, polishes. And here is the headlight kit, which I recommended go ahead and put that in the back seat. Now I did get that from Harbor Freight, so I don't know how good it is. I haven't had the opportunity to use it yet, but most of them are gonna come in something similar to that. Good thing about a car is you've got these little back pockets. I've also got my nitrile Amazon Basics gloves. Now these you can toss anywhere. You can toss them here. There's so much storage in the sedan, you know, and you also can put your vacuum, which I forgot to grab it. It's still in the garage, but I usually set my vacuum up here and I bungee it down to the wood and the seat. Anything else you would need, like I said, your electrical cords, your carpet extractor, I put that down here on the floor. Again, I left that in the garage, but there's so much space back here. And if you needed more, all you got to do, unbolt these seats, take out that cushion. You could have so much space back here. So again, there's no reason for you to go ahead and buy a truck, buy a van. Use what you've got. Get started. Don't fall for that whole, you can't do it unless you buy the right vehicle. Look at this. I'm in a sedan. This is my daily driver. No reason you can't do it with yours, you know? Get out there and do it. Nothing's stopping you. Check the links in the description. I'll have some deals in there for you, and get started. I would really appreciate your guys' comments. If you can give this video a thumbs up if it's helped you in any way, but I will see you guys next time. Thanks.